If you're looking for a people mover or want to transfer a small soccer team of kids, then you need a big van. Dodge Grand Caravan can afford you versatility and space. But what about reliability? In this short video, let's investigate 10 of the most common flaws and recalls that have recently diminished this model's appeal. But just before we start, please make sure you've subscribed to the channel. Damaged fuel rail tube leak. The 2016 Dodge Grand Caravan has a fuel-related problem that Chrysler discovered could be fatal. The fuel rail tube that supplies the engine with fuel was leaking. According to reports, the 3.6 liters engine's fuel rail crossover tube may have been harmed due to a manufacturing error that occurred during engine assembly. Any fuel leak in the engine compartment creates a very high risk of fire and explosion, which could result in injuries or fatalities. Although Chrysler advised customers to perform the required inspection and fix any potential leaks at no cost, it is alarming that issues with fuel leaks have persisted in this vehicle. Fuel pump gasket fuel leak. A self-destructing fuel tank gasket was discovered to be present in the 2019 Dodge Grand Caravan. Why then should this be a concern? Any leak of a flammable liquid is bad, but a fuel leak on your dependable family mover is particularly bad. Fuel gauge accuracy is a result of the fuel tank's defective gasket. Imagine leaving on your desert road trip thinking your tank is full when in reality it is nearly empty. It's no joke to be stranded in the middle of nowhere. Second, losing power can also be a fatal issue, forcing drivers to pull into traffic and engage in risky overtaking maneuvers. Additionally, breathing in fuel vapors while driving is not recommended and can have negative health effects. The risk of fire or explosion, however, is the biggest worry because the fuel puddle under the car releases highly flammable fumes. Customers were contacted by the manufacturer to arrange payment for the cost of replacing the damaged fuel pump gasket. Seat strikers failure. When you tilt and move your seats to access the back seats of the Dodge Caravan, these strikers are the locking latches that keep them in place. They are a component of the fixing mechanisms for the back seats. It has been discovered that some 2019 model vehicles have rear seat striker welds that would not hold up in an emergency or impact crash situation. For more than 30,000 affected vehicles, Chrysler issued a recall in October 2019 with the number V91. The issue was that the second and third row seats wouldn't be able to withstand a collision in either a front-end crash or a rear-end crash. To fix this, Chrysler informed Grand Caravan owners that the second and third row outboard seat strikers would receive a new striker reinforcement bracket that would be welded onto them. Voltage regulator failure. In some 2017 to 2018 Grand Caravan models, the voltage regulator chip in the powertrain control module failed. This means that the likelihood of the car stalling or not starting is higher for you as the owner or prospective owner of one of these models. Driving while your car stalls can put you and your passengers in a precarious situation. The last thing you need is to be caught in the path of approaching traffic in the middle of an intersection because your car decided to stop on its own, as with many other recalls affecting this Dodge-branded model from Chrysler. The same danger exists if your Grand Caravan won't start, leaving you stranded at night in a parking lot or rest area. Not really all that grand. Inoperable fire extinguisher. Specific Grand Caravans from 2014 to 2016 were the focus of an NHTSA recall. It was released to address the kid push-button pindicator fire extinguishers that came with the factory, which broke down in an emergency. The affected vehicles were those with the optional towing group of features, which increased the towing capacity from the base model's 15 pounds to 35 pounds. The original kid-supplied ones would leave you struggling with a clogged valve that prevented the extinguisher from discharging in the event of a fire. Due to this problem, there was a chance that the operator might get hurt when the nozzle detached from the valve assembly. Chrysler issued the T82 recall and instructed owners of the impacted vehicles to get in touch with KID directly for a free replacement of the defective components. With the trailer option, 61,791 Grand Caravan models could have been impacted. Therefore, if you're shopping for a Grand Caravan from 2014 to 2016, please remember to verify that the onboard fire extinguisher has been updated. Windshields with incorrect primer. The windscreens of the vehicle could come loose in the event of an accident if the urethane primer used to install the windscreens had expired. These models are in violation of Federal Motor Vehicle Safety Standard Number 21, or windshield mounting, as a result of this fault. Despite complying with safety standards, this is not the best option for your or your passengers' safety because there is a higher risk of injury in the unfortunate event of a collision. In March 2016, Chrysler issued recall to address this windscreen issue and instructed owners to take their cars to the dealerships for a free windscreen replacement. Insufficient coating on rear brake caliper pistons. The rear brake caliper pistons on some 2018 to 2019 Dodge Grand Caravan models were found to have an inadequate finish. In November 2018, Chrysler issued a recall with the number U86. So what impact does this have on the car? Air bubbles are created when brake fluid interacts with the piston's base metal material. These air bubbles in the braking system then make the rear brakes of your car spongy, which ultimately results in inadequate stopping power. The issue is an inadequate coating on the rear brake caliper pistons, which is required to stop an unfavorable chemical reaction between the caliper piston material and brake fluid. In order to get rid of this air buildup in the rear brake system, Chrysler informed customers of the affected vehicles that they would bleed the brakes at no cost. Any prospective owner should take note of the fact that they appeared to have stopped short of actually replacing the damaged brake components. Vehicle hood striker bolt failure. You should be looking forward, hands on the wheel, and through the windscreen of the car in order to be able to see where you are going. Imagine driving your Grand Caravan with the family inside and the bonnet hood suddenly popping up and crashing onto the windscreen, blocking your vision. Quite a frightening situation to be in. Sadly, there have been issues with the hood striker bolts coming loose on 2015 Dodge Grand Caravans. The hood then flew up, increasing the risk of an accident and harm to the occupants and other drivers as a result of the striker latch becoming loose. Having your vision obstructed could have disastrous results if the driver veers into the oncoming lanes of traffic. In October 2015, Chrysler issued Recall R53 requesting free installation of new hood striker bolts. Transmission pump failure. The Grand Caravan's automatic transmission has received the wrong kind of attention in recent years. The transmission oil pump malfunctioned, resulting in the pump to seize. This loss of hydraulic pressure ultimately resulted in the loss of power to the wheels. In short, the vehicle is immobile and cannot move forward or backward. The Grand Caravan's automatic transmission, like those in other Chrysler models, depends on this fluid pressure to function. Without the pump, none of the automatic transmission's features will operate. If this device malfunctions while you're driving, there is a high risk of an accident. It would be disastrous to lose power to the wheels and suddenly stop in your lane on a busy freeway. We all know the procedure by this point with regard to these serious flaws. In August 2016, Chrysler issued Recall S44 and advised owners to take their cars to the dealerships for a free replacement of the defective pumps. Front left brake caliper. This recall could affect more than 21,000 vehicles made between 2015 and 2016 because the front left brake caliper was made from the wrong material. The pistons and pads that clamp on the brake discs to provide stopping power for your car are housed in the brake caliper. The incorrect material used during the manufacturing process was a mistake made by someone at Chrysler, putting the occupants in a dangerous situation. Extreme heat is produced when a car brakes, and repeated heating and cooling will wear down the metal. If the caliper is made of the wrong material, it will crack, allowing fluid to leak and the piston's pressure to drop. The vehicle's braking system will be severely damaged, increasing the likelihood of a collision and injuries. Chrysler advised owners to have their vehicles inspected for this defect under recall number S16 in 2016 and replaced at no cost to the owner. The unfortunate pattern of issues still affects the Chrysler brand. Although the Grand Caravan was last produced in 2020, prospective buyers on the used car market should exercise caution when considering one, particularly the 2016 model, which has been the focus of numerous recalls.